friends, it's Frances with Find Your Crazy, and we're back this week with another Crazy Tip Tuesday. This is just a time when I can share with you my favorite hacks and tricks for living with a big family, living full-time on the road, and also just how we organize our life and how we live big in a small space. So a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you about our couch and how we have made that a focal point in our rig. And then last week, I was able to share with you some more fun decorative tips on how to make curtains work in an RV without sewing for a fraction of the cost that you would spend at a store. And this week, I'm going to share with you about our dining room table. And so when we bought this rig, we had looked through lots of different YouTube videos and blogs and Instagram posts on what to do with this dining room area. You see, in our Sticks and Bricks house, we had a priority of gathering around the table every single day for dinner. And I didn't want to give that up in a rig. I didn't want to give that up in a small space. And as I've told you for the past 2 weeks, you don't have to give up the things that are important to your family that makes the fabric of who you are just because you're living a different kind of life, just because you're living on the road, or just because you've downsized. And so we decided to keep the dinette. Lots of people have strong feelings about this dinette. Should you keep it? Should you make it work for you? Or should you toss it out for more living space? But because it's a huge focal point in our life to gather around the table, to share our highs and lows, to eat together, to talk together, to put away the cell phones, to stop the movies, and just for a few minutes of life to gather around and share a meal together. We knew that this had to stay, but it was ugly. But the problem with it was we didn't want to put something new in because this is fit exactly for our rig. What we love about it is it also has a leaf. And so we're able to take this out, to place it up underneath, and we're able to get ready to head on the road. And so this helps when we're traveling, but it also helps when we get stationary that we can have a bigger space to eat. So to find a table with a leaf in it that would fit 7 people around it would have been really difficult for us. Plus, this table is bolted in to the floor. So when we are on the road, this stays secure. So we decided to work with what we had. Sometimes when you're living in a rig, you can't change it or you don't want to change it, but you do want to updo it a little bit to make it more of the style that you have. So that's what we did with this. And I will say this is probably one of our cheapest hacks that we have found that has lasted over a year of traveling full time. And that is to cover this table with contact paper. Yes, regular, cheap, simple contact paper. And so because we have a lighter theme in our rig, we also have different types of wood grains and things that we've brought in our bathroom and in the kids' room, we decided to bring that same thing here. So we looked on Amazon. We'll put the link to all the things that we talk about in our description box, so make sure you check there. But we looked on Amazon and we found this really whitewashed gray table kind of wood that we were able to put on here. I will say it's not super simple to make sure that you get it straight and you get all the bubbles out of it, but once you do that, this has lasted us. So we've had our rig going on 2 years. We've had this from the very beginning. We've been full-time traveling for about 13 months now, and this has lasted. But I will tell you a tip. Make sure that you get some kind of wood grain or something that if it nicks and gets little dings in it, that you won't notice it. From far away, it looks amazing. From close up, you can see that real life has happened to this. There's all kinds of tears and nicks and little divots out of it, but because we chose a design that looks like wood, it looks rustic, you don't even notice the imperfections. That's important because when you travel full time in an RV, everything gets knocked and everything shifts during travel, and nothing looks the same than when you first started it. So make sure that you pick something that's going to be functional but also fun. And this, what we did for a trick is we made sure that because we had a leaf, we made sure to cover each piece separately. That way, when we push this down and we place it underneath here for travel, we are ready to go. And it still looks the same whether it's small or whether it's large. And we made sure to go ahead and to line up all of the lines, and that's really hard, but make sure you grab a friend who's good with their ruler and is good with kind of the details, and then we're able to keep it small or keep it large with the same pattern throughout. It has been an amazing thing for us because it cleans up very quickly, and it also is something we can change out if at some point we decide that this is looking too rugged or we just don't want this pattern anymore. Contact paper, we just spent a fraction of the cost that we would for a new table, and we can change it as often as we want. So if you have a table or something in your living space that's driving you crazy, that's showing its wear, or is just old but you don't want to replace it because it's really functional, get creative. Look on Amazon, even go by your local Dollar Tree. They carry such cute different patterns of contact paper, and you can change the look of anything in just a few minutes. So I hope that trick helps you. If you have a furniture trick that you have used for your table, would you please put that in the description box, because before too long I might be changing this thing up if it gets beyond repair and the next year we go out. I'd love to hear your tricks so that I can see what you're doing to make it work in your family. So join us next week for Crazy Tip Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can keep up with all of our tips, but also all of our adventures